All right, Shalom. There's a brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha'Allah. And a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word. And to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5. And it reads, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." All right, through the Spirit, as I looked at this picture, that is the thumbnail of this lesson, it made me think and meditate upon, our Father's expectation of us. The chastening is not joyous but grievous, but yet through the Spirit, with those high privileges and the high title of being a chosen people of the Lord, it comes with great responsibility. All right. And that means the chastening is greater for us, and as I looked at this picture, it looks like what represents Jake, and the destruction of the prison that has become the planet. All right. And the Lord looking down. All right. And that's what we're going through right now. The Lord is in the process of freeing us from this captivity. But what was the purpose of this captivity? All right. The scriptures say, "Whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth." All right. We've been nourished with discipline for a purpose and for a reason. All right. And the brothers bring this out all the time. They have a saying in the world, prison or reform will either make you or break you. All right. And that's what the Lord is basically doing to us as a nation of people. And according to prophecy, 2/3 of our people will be broken by this captivity. They will be deemed beyond rehabilitation. And Lord willing, we're not a part of that number. All right. But for that chosen elect amongst the nation of Israel. All right. This captivity is the best thing that could ever have happened to us as a nation of people, because we understand through experience the consequences of our negative decisions. All right. But this is temporary. We were not always meant to taste this cup and drink this cup. And that's why the Lord's beginning to dismantle this kingdom. As I think about, the Lord destroying this place, what comes to mind is the reasoning. Why is the Lord destroying this place? All right. Because the remnant is about to be freed from this captivity. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to come back to Hebrews, the 12th chapter, but I want to go to Jeremiah 33 really quick. This is Jeremiah 33 and 7. "And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first." All right. And this is what the whole world is fighting against. Us being able to be freed from this situation, freed from our bonds. All right. Because the Lord put us in bonds as a disciplinary action. And as I look at this picture, through the Spirit, it just reminds me of the purpose. All right. That the Lord is going to make the Lord's going to make a spectacle of this captivity. All right. But as I look at the Jake holding the flag, and you see the destruction of Babylon the Great, it reminds me that the elect are going to be freed from this. That this bondage didn't break Jake. It made Jake better. And that's what the purpose of it. That's why it says, "Whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth." All right. When you think about you as a man on the earth, if you had 4 or 5 sons that you knew were going to take over the family and push the family forward, you wouldn't just let them live and do anything that they wanted to do. You would put them under the yoke of discipline, because you understand that the whole legacy will be placed in their hands. Now, beginning with Hamashiach, the planet was made for our inheritance. And Edris asked, why don't we have a possession with it? And the reason was because we still had to be disciplined. We still had to be under those governors and tutors. Let me go to, as a matter of fact, let me get that. So let me go to Galatians, the 4th chapter. All right. This is Galatians 4. And I'm going to start at 1. "Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. And these bonds, so to speak, is our tutors and our governors. All right. This very body we exist in. is a part of that government, that correction, to discipline us, to give us the proper understanding through experience, most importantly, of discernment, of judgment, of etiquette, of morality, of integrity. Things that money can't buy, because the Lord could give us the abundance of things in a heartbeat. But that's not the purpose of it. Just like if you were a father and you have 4 or 5 sons who are getting up to the age where it's going to be on them to further the legacy, you would put a lot of responsibility and discipline on them. That's what the Lord is doing for us, all in our respective measures, according to our measures, with Hamashiach being the first. And that is the purpose. That is why Babylon was established in the first place. Babylon the Great was the rod of the Lord's anger, to put us under that yoke, so that through this bondage, we will be nourished with that discipline and be produce the fruit, right? Matter of fact, let's get that. I'm gonna go to James. All right, this is James chapter 1 and 3. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. And Babylon the Great has been that rod in the Lord's hand. All right. And what is a rod used? It's used for correction. This society was built up for the correction of the elect, if you can receive that. You know, this is something I mention all the time. The Zaquan in Hawaii mentioned this a while ago. He said that this world is an open classroom for the elect, the hopeful elect. And that was a beautiful way to put where we are as a nation of people, beginning with the first fruits, the hopeful elect, the ones who believe and the ones who labor. Because it's a lesson. It's a disciplinary lesson for us to understand in proper context through experience. That's why one thing that is common amongst the believers and the laborers is certain afflictions, certain chastisements, certain situations where you have not too much, not too little. You're in the sweet spot to be able to embrace and learn from this chastisement and this discipline. And that's why the Lord created Babylon the Great, raised up Babylon the Great. He raised it up against us, and he raised it up that he may show his power and strength in it by destroying it. Because everybody looks at Babylon the Great as this strong, the strongest empire that the world has ever seen. And truly, of a truth, it is. Because the kingdom after it is the beginning of it that followeth. And the Lord is going to make an example of what power truly is by the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is this whole society beginning with America. But this was an institution, all right? Just like in when Jake commits a crime, what does Esau do? He puts him in prison houses. What do they call those prison houses? Correctional facilities. That is what has happened to us as a nation of people. The Lord has put us in these bonds for what? For correction. All right. As a matter of fact, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 17. And I'll jump down to verse 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion, whom, being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him. And this reminds me when Esdras asked the Lord, like, out of all the nations on the earth, Lord, no other nation has even tried to keep the law, statutes, and commandments but us. And he said, why don't we have a possession with the earth if it was made for our inheritance? And it goes into this in Ecclesiasticus, the 17th chapter. Why? Because the Lord, us being his firstborn, are being nourished with discipline. That's why ever since we've left Egypt, we've never had it good, so to speak, because of our disobedience. Every time we got out of line, the Lord corrected us immediately. He didn't allow us to develop bad habits. That's why he raised up nations to put us in captivity. And when we get delivered, it wasn't too long after us being disobedient that we would be put back into captivity for a correction. And this planet has been turned into a correctional facility for the nation of Israel. And the only ones who are going to be pardoned, all right, are the hopeful elect, the remnant. All right, because the Lord is nourishing us with discipline. All right, this is Ecclesiasticus 17:18. Whom, being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him. Therefore, all their works are as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways. And as I look at this picture, it reminds me of like a father carefully watching the actions of his son. Carefully watching his tendencies, his strengths, his weaknesses, analyzing him and pushing him to be better. That is what the Lord is doing with us. And it doesn't feel good. Because us being in this flesh, we just want to be comfortable. We don't want to have to go through anything. But that's the only way we actually get the opportunity to grow. And that's what this society was built up for, that purpose, beginning with the remnant. So in the kingdom, we'll be able to look back at this experience and appreciate the kingdom of heaven and actually understand the consequences of deviating from the law, statutes, and commandments. What happens to the planet? What happens to the animals? What happens to the morality of the people? What happens to the economies? We are learning these things through experience. But we're coming into that time, Adawan Ratazah, we're a part of that number. We're coming into that time where the correctional facility will no longer be needed. Matter of fact, that's why the Lord said this. All right. Bear with me. All right. Yeah, this is it right here. This is Zechariah chapter 14:12. And it reads, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. Hey, this is what the Lord is facilitating, because this is going to be the destruction of that correctional facility, man. This is going to be the destruction of this order, this present system, this present rulership. All of those who fought against Jerusalem. Why did they fight against Jerusalem? Because the Lord removed the hedge from us. But in these last days, the Lord is beginning to destroy our correctional facility and free us from these bonds, beginning first in the spirit. And that is the purpose of this Babylon the Great. It was set up for our correction. All right. Matter of fact, the Lord said something similar about the Assyrians. All right. This is Isaiah 10:5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. All right. And we were that hypocritical nation. And for 2/3 of our people, the majority of our people, I'll say that, they're still a hypocritical nation. Because they have refused to receive corrections, as the scriptures say. They have refused to return. And that's what this system was set up for. The Lord allowed this wickedness to abound and increase, that he may be justified in showing wrath, but also to correct the nation of Israel. All right. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can grab that really quick. All right. Yep. This is Jeremiah 30:11. Let me start at 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh Shai. neither be dismayed, O Israel. And that's a very important point, man. This is not to dismay us. All right. And that's what has happened to the majority of our people. They have taken this correction and have been grieved and dismayed. They have given up hope. Even though we tell them, like, look, this is a temporary situation. The Lord's going to deliver us, but we have to return to him. That's the only way this works out. But our people have given up hope that the Lord will save us. And they've become dismayed. And the Lord is telling us to fear thou not. Don't let this captivity mess you up. You know, they got a saying, Jake say this all the time, you know, they can trap my body, but they can't trap my mind. You know, and you see that a lot of times. You have Jakes that go into these correctional facilities and most of them get destroyed by it. But the ones who survive it, the ones who actually come out of this with a better understanding, they become rehabilitated to a certain degree. That's what we were meant to do in Babylon the Great. We were meant to be rehabilitated spiritually. And that's why the Lord say, take his yoke upon you. Because when you take the yoke of Babylon upon you and you try to fight against the tide and try to be some respectable person in a society where folly is set in great dignity, you end up destroying yourself. But if you bear the indignation of the Lord until he pleads our cause, it produces a better fruit as a nation of people, man. And that's that fruit, that light is being seen on the remnant of our people. And that was the purpose of this society. All right. The planet was made a prison, but Babylon the Great is maximum security. All right. Continuing on in Jeremiah 30 and 10. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. And the Lord built up Babylon the Great because we couldn't be left unpunished. We had to understand, as young kings and princes, little gods, we had to understand the gravity, the weight of our negative decisions, our disobedience. We had to understand through experience the consequences, how heavy and how vexing those consequences are, not only to us as a nation of people, but to the planet. You know, as the scriptures say, a righteous man have a care for his beast, man. But the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. And you see even nature, the animals and how they get treated, the environment, life on earth as it is, man, is defiled and destroyed, man. And it really goes back to us being disobedient. But we had to experience this to know how bad it gets when we're disobedient. That's why this society was built up as a correction for the hopeful elect to see this and witness this and be like, wow, man, we shouldn't have did this. We really should have just listened to our Father. Just like if you were a father and you were getting up in that age and you had sons that were young and they were strong, but you wanted to make sure that they were strong on the inside and not just a show of strength. That's what the Lord is doing for us. We know we're a strong people, but the Lord, beginning with the remnant, is refining our minds and our spirits, man, which is the most important part of the equation. Here it is. Our people think that all of these outside things are going to fix our problems. And really, it's the inside. That's why I say the kingdom of heaven cometh not by observation. Because it's not an outside thing that's our problem. It's not more jobs. It's not a bigger economy. It's not being in the projects. It's our spirit and our disobedience to the Heavenly Father, man, who gave us a standard, a culture, a heritage. Just like if you were a father of a family and you had sons, you would want the sons to carry on your legacy. You wouldn't want them to take everything that you gave them and try to do something different with it that doesn't even work for it. And that's what the Lord is doing for us right now. But we're in a time, and we can tell by the Lord dismantling this kingdom, that we're getting closer and closer to the Lord being pleased enough to give us mercy and let it manifest on earth as it is in heaven. We receive mercy in the spirit. And when I say the manifestation of that mercy, I mean actual salvation being beamed up if you can receive it. And the Lord making this kingdom, this society that was built for our destruction and correction, to be dismantled. Adawan Ratazal, we want to be able to stand before Yahweh Shema Shai, all right, in that day and be able to stand in his presence. Not according to our works, but according to our sincere effort, man. Because even with the correctional facility that Esau has, you don't get, it ain't about having being a straight A student, no, it's about showing your sincere remorse, that you're rehabilitated, that you've acknowledged your offense. And for the remnant who are and have acknowledged their offense, Lord willing, we endure to the end. The Lord is dismantling this place for their sake. That's the time that we're coming into, man. And the whole world has no idea that everything that's going on the planet is for the sake of Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, beginning with the elect. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to that. This is Joel chapter 3, and I am going to start at 2. No, I'll start at 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Everything that the Lord is doing, from the earthquakes to the floods to the mudslides to the active shooters, the shooting sprees, all of that is for the sake of Israel, beginning with the remnant, those who have repented, those who are sincerely trying with the best of their ability to do what's right in the eyes of our Father, man. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And for that reason, the Lord is beginning to make a visitation on our enemies. While everybody has vain opinions and everybody has, all of these different things that are going on in the world, the Lord has a specific agenda that you can't receive if the Lord don't want you to receive it. So if you can understand it, then that means the Lord wanted you to understand it for what? For the purpose of being saved, Lord willing. And we have to be confident in that. That's the reason the Lord is destroying this place. For the reason of the remnant of his people that are sincere to be able to escape from this situation and actually see the mercy of the Lord manifest on the earth, man. All right, this is Philippians 1:6. And it reads, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And that is where our hope lives. And for that reason, our Father is making a visitation. Our Father put us in a cell, locked the key in A, days without number, lifetime after lifetime. But we're starting to see the Lord make a visitation. And really, he's been making a visitation. I don't mean to say that he just started in 2020. But it's becoming more and more apparent that the Lord is ready for us to come home, man. How powerful that is, man. That we're getting close to the Lord actually being able to show us peace and not evil. That in the Lord's mind, and it says this, let me just grab it. I don't want to misquote it. But that's what this picture made me think about, man. That the Lord is close to being pleased enough to get us out of here, man. This is Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 8. Thus saith Yahweh Shema Shai, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. And that's what we've been waiting for, longing for, imagining, envisioning. And every day it gets worse here is another sign that the Lord is ready to free us from this, man. Because it is. Hard times are coming. But at the end of the day, for what purpose? We understand that those hard times are coming because the Lord is going to break forth the remnant of his people to actually show them and let them see salvation. Let us see good and not evil. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.